There you go, thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
No, you're fine. Okay, so you're just going to be an absolute idiot about it.
I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, you
He's
are.
got other jobs and that, and you know, we have to rely
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers have identified, and if you do need my details, they can be.
Okay, that's still again, that's not your policy,
okay,
so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your chief constable. That's not a problem. Actually, I'll probably go straight through the IOPC because otherwise it goes to your local PSD and gets kicked down and disregarded. Yeah, no worries.
The encounter begins as a routine citizen audit, with the auditor lawfully filming in a police station car park, a place accessible to the public. What should have been a simple and professional interaction immediately takes a negative turn when officers approach and begin questioning the auditor without clearly identifying themselves. From the outset, the auditor remains calm and articulate, asserting his right to film and asking only for basic accountability, specifically the officer's collar numbers, which are required under police policy when engaging with...
Hey mate, you alright?
Not bad, how are you?
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just, as you see, just taking some pictures of your cars and out there.
Oh, okay.
That's all. And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, are you? Or are you...
And your collar number, please?
I'll have to give you my collar number. It's my identification just on my shoulder there.
And then if I can't read, it's not your policy to identify for members of the public?
No, I don't need to.
No, it's not identified, no.
Okay. Are you here to just cause issues, or are you here to just
No, I'm just here to take pictures and that's all. As I said, I've just noticed as I was walking down to take pictures, your colleague's window was open, I could see the screen, made them aware of it.
Okay, have they sorted that?
Yeah, they closed the window,
okay.
Fine. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Cool. Okay, I'm sure we're not here to cause you a problem. I'm sure you're not here to cause a problem. We're just,
you know, your colleagues not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy. You are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account. You are required to identify. Because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force requires? So, you know, again, you refuse to identify properly because, again, you don't know that I can read, so you're refusing to identify properly. Yes, you're in uniform, but again, if I want to make a complaint against you...
You can give the time and date and where the location where you are. My body cam's recording, so
it
can all be... How come
mistaken?
The situation escalates when one officer repeatedly refuses to verbally provide his collar number, instead pointing vaguely to his shoulder. This refusal is problematic because police identification is not optional or conditional on whether a member of the public can read a badge. The auditor correctly points out that accountability requires clear verbal identification, particularly for individuals who may have impaired eyesight. This moment exposes a fundamental misunderstanding or disregard of police policy and sets the tone for the confrontation.
Your body cam's recording.
Talking.
And is the policy not to, at the first most practical opportunity to allow that?
Was the most practical time to inform
was it?
You.
So because you come in and gone hands on with me.
I haven't gone hands on.
Exactly. So why is not the first thing that you say good afternoon or morning?
What you're doing, because that's the first question I asked you, and then we've had a conversation, and now I've told you.
Yeah. But the first most practical opportunity is to say, good. By the way, you are being recorded.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could be covertly recording me under the Regulations of Investigatory Powers Act, couldn't you?
But that's not happening, so don't worry about that.
It could, because it took you X amount of time to alert me when there was plenty. The only situation where it's not practicable at the first opportunity is if you're going into a hands-on situation. Any other time, there is no reason, and this has been dealt with in the tribunal by the tribunal that deals with the REFA Act, that the first most practical opportunity is when you approach somebody. If you have your camera on or you turn it on, if you approach with your camera on, you should alert them when you approach, unless you're going hands-on. If you turn it on whilst engaging in a conversation, you should turn it on, and then once it's recording, so it's stated on the camera, by the way, you are being recorded for my safety and your safety, blah, blah, blah. You have the right to do it, same way that I have the right to do it. It's not a problem, it's the notification that's the problem.
Okay.
You know?
But I've notified you at a time that I think is practical, so I've done that, so it's fine.
Okay, you can justify that to a tribunal, it's fine, no worries.
So what are you
so you're going to try to identify yourself properly yet?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to identify yourself, or would you like a complaint as well, sir?
Sir, can I ask you a question? Before my colleague steps in, so my name is PC237.
As the exchange continues, the auditor highlights another key issue, the failure to notify him that body-worn cameras were recording. Police guidance is explicit that officers must inform individuals at the first practical opportunity, unless immediate force is required. In this case, there was no urgency or physical threat. The delay in notification raises legitimate concerns about transparency and compliance, and the auditor demonstrates a strong understanding of the legal framework governing police recording practices.
Yeah, was obviously made aware that the window was open.
Yeah.
And he's got concerns because of data protection and that you might have recorded something on your phone from the screens.
If there is anything, I'm not sure if there is or not. If anything is captured on there, that will be evidence for me to report that to the Information Commissioner's office, because obviously the onus of data protection is on the organisation, not on whoever sees that information.
You don't expect someone to stick their head through the window.
I didn't stick my head through a window. I saw it from a public place.
Somebody else's information, this is a secure site. Well,
I understand that.
It's not as secure as we'd like.
Well, no,
it to
exactly.
be.
It's not secure at all, is it? Really?
No. We are trying to work on that, but unfortunately, you have to deal with what you've got to that.
Even a bit of signage saying no unauthorised access beyond this point would go a long way, because I do respect signs like that.
No, okay.
But I did have a look around, and there is nothing there.
I will genuinely take that to the senior leadership team, because I think that is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are trying to redo everything. Yeah, financially, we have to wait until the budget.
That's why it's quite a small town, isn't it? Lower priority. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
We get shoved right to the bottom type of thing. We're right on the borders, between different forces and that. So it is totally, I understand where you're coming from, and I'll pass it on to the senior leadership team.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I've just got concerns about the data protection that's on that video. Do you know what I mean? Because that's somebody else's private stuff and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we obviously learn from things like that. So you've pointed it out, they've closed the window, it is really hot in there, we've got no air conditioning.
Again, I completely understand that, but obviously data protection takes priority over that, unfortunately.
A clear contrast in policing styles emerges when a female officer joins the interaction. Unlike her colleague, she immediately identifies herself clearly and professionally, stating her caller number without hesitation. This simple act instantly lowers tension and demonstrates how adherence to procedure fosters trust. Her approach shows that professionalism is not complicated. It requires respect, clarity, and an understanding that public accountability strengthens, rather than weakens, policing.
Fan in there, and I understand, I've worked in many various locations where health and safety data protection takes priority over that.
Does that go live? Is that a live?
It's not. I'm not live streaming. No.
If there is something, would you delete that?
Not necessarily delete it, but I would make it anonymous. I would blur it out if there is anything, if I were to post it anywhere.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not their fault. You know what I mean?
No, of course. I've raised the issue. I've raised the issue of data protection, and obviously I raised it as an issue because I do see it as an issue. I'm not going to go share that information. That would be very hypocritical of me, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
So if there is anything captured on the camera, it won't be made available to the public. It will be forwarded to the ICO.
That's fine. Yeah. Can I take your details?
No, I'm okay.
Can I take your name?
No, I'm alright.
Just first name, so I know who I'm speaking to.
No, I'm alright. Thank you.
So you've got my collar number, but I can't take yours.
Yeah, but as a Crown servant, obviously you have issues of accountability when dealing with members of the public, and that's why. Yeah, I know.
Your first name.
I know.
I don't even know anything
but then
else,
obviously that coupled with my image, which obviously he's notified me is recording.
Obviously we do that because I'm open and honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. We record things so that you can see what we do. And we can
absolutely.
See,
I completely agree with the use of body cameras. Completely.
That's the thing is I can't hide saying, oh no, I didn't say this to this man, or this man didn't say anything.
No, exactly the same reason why I record any interaction I have with you as well.
Yeah, that's why we record everything. I protect my back. Of course. People have said we do things. Of course. We don't.
Yeah. But with your collar number and that, obviously you're bound. You have to identify. You did it correctly verbally because you can't guarantee that I can read.
You know what I mean?
But you have to wear that for accountability reasons. That's why I'm entitled to have that, because you're dealing with a member of the public in a stop and account situation. Accountability.
The discussion shifts to the original concern that prompted police interest, a computer screen visible through an open window inside the station. The auditor correctly explains that responsibility for protecting sensitive data lies with the organization, not passers-by. He makes clear that if any personal information had been captured, it would be handled responsibly and, if necessary, reported to the Information Commissioner's office. This response demonstrates ethical conduct and a sophisticated understanding of data protection law.
Which he doesn't seem to understand. Sorry, we got interrupted. Would you like the opportunity to identify?
4988 PC Biffin.
Sorry,
PC Biffin.
And your collar number, please?
4988.
4988. There you go. Thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
No, you're fine. Okay, so you're just going to be an absolute idiot about it.
I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, you are.
He's got other jobs and that, and we have to rely on
Yes, but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers have identified, and if you do need my details, they can be.
Okay, that's still again, that's not your policy, okay, so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your chief constable. That's not a problem. Actually, I'll probably go straight through the IOPC because otherwise it goes to your local PSD and gets kicked down and disregarded. Yeah, no worries. Just get a nice picture of your face as well, so I can just make sure that goes to the right person.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything else I can help you with today, sir?
No. Like I said, obviously, I've made the issue of that window, and I've made that aware.
Which I'm literally going to go speak to my inspector.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Obviously, if I were to say to come back in half an hour and I walk back and that window's open again, you're now willfully and negligently disregarding data protection, and that's fantastic. So I've been to places where they close it because I'm there, and then I come back at like 10, 15 minutes, half hour late, and then just reopened it because they think I've gone, and that's not the point of what I'm trying to.
Rather than becoming defensive, the female officer listened to the auditor's suggestion that simple signage could prevent future security issues. She acknowledges the point and commits to raising it with senior leadership. This moment highlights effective community policing in action. Listening to public concerns, even when they're critical, builds cooperation and credibility. It contrasts sharply with the earlier resistance shown by her colleague, whose conduct continues to undermine confidence.
People on the site,
they
are trying to get gates and all of that, but it's planning permission and all of that. So unfortunately we have to work with what we have. We just hope people, members of the public, would be understanding of that.
Like I said, just take your police cars and that to the local force, just trying to come and have a look around really and see where the local money's going.
And definitely not yet, mate.
Definitely not here apparently. Well, thank you you've been very lovely and professional. I appreciate that. So you've told me you're recording, have you been recording?
I am recording, yeah.
You are recording. So again, the same issue that I raised with him. Is there a reason you haven't notified me of that? Is there?
Because it's not necessary. They're all three of them.
No. You told me that you're recording. You didn't say we're all recording you. You told me that you're recording. That's your responsibility. It's his responsibility to let me know that he's recording me.
It's not necessary.
It is necessary. Would you like to refer to the College of Policing guidance? Because
no, we're fine. Thank you.
No, you're fine, exactly. Because you're not interested in you're not interested in actually learning what your policies are and adhering to them, are you? You're just one of those tyrants that just wants to go around and do what you want to do, ignore your policies. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not interested in talking to you. I'll rather talk to your colleagues. You're just a bit of a tyrant, and I have no interest in talking to you. Yep. If you're
conversation with you. If you disagree, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not going to follow your policies on your guidance and you have no interest in learning them, because I can refer you to the guidance in which it tells you about your body-worn cameras, in which it tells you about identifying yourself. But again, you have no interest in it. So what's the point in talking to you any further? But yeah, again, thank you. You've been very professional. Straight away identified yourself, told me that you're recording a little bit later than I would have liked, but...
Sorry, I was my colleague spoke to me.
Yeah, exactly. So you weren't the one directly engaging with me. I was talking to him, so I understand that, but he had every opportunity.
That's fine. Like I said, I'm going to go back and speak to my inspector about authorised personnel signs, even if we can do that.
Like again, not everybody's going to respect those signs, but at least then you've got the footing of you've been notified of trespassing before you've entered the site,
We want members of the public to be able to come and ask us for help. That's what we're here for. To help them in their times of stress and everything like that. We don't want to be unwelcoming.
No, of course. Like I said to your colleagues when they first came out with non-uniform, you've got a sign on that door which is clearly for public information that says, if the office is closed, call 101. That's obviously for public information. Almost an expectation that the public are expected to be there.
Well, because it's not closed,
exactly. So
we don't have a closed fence anymore. So you can come in. Obviously, we have to try and protect ourselves because you get members of the public that try to do harm to the police. They don't like the police. You know what I mean? But anti-police. They try. We've had screws put by the tyres and things like that. So that's why they were just checking to make sure.
And obviously, I'm sure you've got CCTV around a sign saying you have and that. And obviously, I'm walking around, my face is uncovered. I'm not making any efforts to hide myself. I'm not trying to be covert. No. Otherwise I wouldn't have made myself apparent to the person in the window. I would have, if I had nefarious intent with that information, I would have stood there and filmed it for as long as I could before I got noticed and not said anything. That would have been, if I had nefarious intent with it.
I can see that. I think it's just, you pointed out a thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to go speak to my inspector now.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm hoping that you're not going to like have any nefarious things about putting spikes
Again,
or anything like that.
if I was, I'm on your body cameras. My face is quite clear. Like, I don't think it would be difficult.
But I'm just saying, you know what I mean.
To figure it out.
We're going to go back. We're going to leave you to it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate it. Again, I'm not the anti-police. I'm anti-police like that who don't want to follow policies and think they're above doing what they're supposed to do. But you've been fantastic, and
it's people's experiences, isn't it?
Yeah, but as constables, you should approach every situation independently, shouldn't you? Really,
it is hard because we're human beings.
I know, I get that, but you're held to a much higher standard because of the job role that you take on. You know, you take an oath to the crown of this country, and we expect you to live your life to that.
Yeah. Harm us. Punch us every day.
Yeah, sure, but but then we say as members of the public we have police officers that want to do that to us, and it does happen. You can't deny that it does.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. Is
yeah, so we have the same thing.
We generalise.
Yeah. Again, but I will give everybody their fair dues. Like I've given you, I've had a polite conversation with you, and I've told you thank you for doing your job as you're supposed to do, following your policies, and I'll give everybody their fair dues, and that's what we expect from the police as well. We expect that two-way street. At the end of the day, the confidence in policing in this country is plummeting, and we're trying to build. We like to try and build the bridges rather than tear them down. But we don't want people that, if he's not willing to follow simple policies, how can we expect him to follow the ones that actually are way more serious? It starts with the basic level, and that's what it's like. School uniform. If you can't be bothered to do your school uniform, how can you wear your uniform at work? They don't expect that. It's an indicator of you're not going to be bothered to do your job properly or learn properly. And that's what it's about. If you can't follow your basic policies, how on earth can we have the confidence in you to do your job when it really matters? And that's the kind of people that we don't want in our police forces, is people that, if they can't follow the simple stuff, how can we trust them to do anything more serious when they've got powers that can demolish people's lives,
And support people.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, your powers can do great things, but they can also do very dangerous things. And if we can't trust you to use them properly, that's scary.
Okay, dokie. Well, we're gonna. Like I said, I would have loved to have your first name.
Yeah, I know you would.
Be after your pink, I think, shirt or something.
Probably.
Like that.
Or my cologne, maybe. But yeah, no worries. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate your professionality.